And then even as I've told you before, even my business right now, I haven't done any marketing. So there's a lesson
That's
for
another
us.
thing that you're having some success that the world says you have to grind for it. Like you get business
Correct.
clients without even marketing. You don't even have a website.
Wait, now, we hear about 10x and all this type of stuff. We
Mm,
are 7 years later, and he said the way he said it today is that because of God, it's like 20 years of work that has been done.
mm.
I,
In
I
just that
literally,
short.
in a short period of time,
Mm,
I saw his staff. I told quite a few younger engineers who in college, who would ask, like, "Hey, can you give some advice about school and everything, or the workforce?" I told them, to be honest with you guys, uh, I received this job and they never asked for transcripts. They received my resume. They saw
mm.
a GP on the resume, but there was no verification of anything. I think I've had one interview. It's the first job out of college. That's the only interview I've ever had, for a position. I've had interviews before, but
Hmm.
in terms of like the jobs that I've had since I've been in
Hmm.
and moving different positions, there's only been one interview. Everything
Hmm.
after that just been, pretty much we know what it is now, God opening the doors.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
even in that first interview, I told quite a few younger engineers who in college, who would ask, like, "Hey, can you give some advice about school and everything, or the workforce?" I told them, to be honest with you guys, uh, I received this job and they never asked for transcripts. They received my resume. They saw a
Hmm.
GP on the resume, but there was no verification of anything at all.
Hmm.
And I told them, I said, I don't really know if that's standard. I know some other jobs will require transcripts, but I'd never proven that what's actually shown on the resume is actually it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Since then, as you're speaking about how God opens the door for us and we just need to step in.
Hmm.
Since then, it's been the same. I moved from that position. Someone said, a company, an engineering company, structural engineering company said, "Hey, do you want to come work for us?" That was it. You know, then
Hmm.
the question, "Oh, do you want to go overseas?" That's it. Then after that, "Hey, would you mind going over to Los Angeles?" Within the company.
Hmm.
And then even as I've told you before, even my business right now, I haven't done any marketing. So there's a lesson
That's
for
another
us.
thing that you're having some success that the world says you have to grind for it. Like you get business
Correct.
clients without even marketing. You don't even have a website.
Wait, now, right? Here's where we have
Yeah.
to keep ourselves on guard
Yes.
because I've fallen in this area. Now, as we're
Hmm.
speaking about,
Hmm.
God has already shown us the pattern
Hmm.
that He has implemented for us
Hmm.
in our lives and in journeys through our career. I'm looking back, I recognize where I have gone ahead is when God opens the door for me and I have little participation in getting there. When
Hmm.
I'm there, now I think I need to grind.
Oh, yes.
You
That's good
see?
information for
So
me
as
too.
God
Yep.
is
Hmm.
preparing us for the future, it's important for us to come back to recognizing that we didn't grind to get here. For
Mm.
example, my brother, you didn't grind to have such a powerful conversation with that professor. Wherever God leads, we don't want to start, okay, I'm here now. Now I need to grind. That happened to me in my careers. So I never forced my way into the door.
Hmm.
God opened the door.
Yep. Yep.
But then I started to run on my own and I let go of his hand. I know he's present. He brought me into the room, but I'm running up and down in the room, running up all the
Hmm.
walls, all this type of stuff.
Yes.
And the room's
Yes.
not growing. The room's not
Exactly.
bigger, and I'm
Yeah.
doing all this stuff. And I'm learning now, as we've been spending this time together. I'm learning now that God's saying, "No, just hold on to my hand while I'm here.
Hmm.
Let me grow the room while you're in it.
Yes.
Watch
Yep.
me grow the room."
True.
You don't need to
Yep.
run around and bang your head on the wall or run into the wall or try to push the wall or try
Yeah.
to max. Just hold on to my hand, you
Yep.
know? And so that's going to be important for us.
True.
Like I said,
True.
conclusion, we're seeing God do it. We see the pattern for
Yep.
what's happening. And so once again, even in my business right now, God has brought so many clients and I know it's a miracle. Each job that is coming is a miracle. What
Yep.
happens when the job begins though? That's the question. I've
Mm.
oftentimes let go of God's hand. I've
Wow.
taken on the
Yes.
weight on myself. I try
Yep.
to figure it out on my own. And I don't just patiently wait. The same way, like you said, we put in a little bit, but God
Hmm.
does so much. Once
Yep.
I get into the job, now I'm
Yep.
trying to do much and I'm not
Mm.
getting anywhere. we need to continue that. I need to continue maintaining that, doing my part in the pattern of, Lord, I'll let
Yes.
you take full control in this, you know? So
Yep.
what came to mind was Matthew 11:28 and 29,
Mhm.
right? We know it, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Jesus Christ is speaking. Verse
Yep.
29 says, for my yoke is easy. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am
Mm.
meek and lowly in heart, and ye
Yep.
shall find rest unto your souls. Sorry, verse 30. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Burden. Yes.
In a different version, it says, my yoke
Yeah.
fits.
My yoke fits.
So we know that a yoke, you're a farm man, you know about a yoke and
Yes.
everything like that. It's put
Yep.
on the
For
oxen and everything
animal.
like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if a yoke doesn't fit, it's very uncomfortable to pull the load, to do the labor.
True. That's
But if the
so
yoke
true.
fits, it feels good, right? And so what I'm getting at is,
You sorry, go ahead. Yes. I just
I'll
want to
say
jump in,
this:
but
we're
yeah.
not saying that someone should not go and get an interview. We're not saying that someone should not prepare themselves, right? And just
Exactly.
be stand still, right?
Yep.
What we're saying though is that in our experiences, we've seen the pattern in which God has moved. And
Yes.
so we need to be mindful not to go outside of this yoke that God is
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, this is the one that I've created for you. We don't
Yes.
even recognize, it just fits well. We're like,
Yep.
wow, this is so comfortable. I didn't do much. And
Yep.
look at this great thing that's happening, right?
Yep.
For another person, their yoke may be different. The yoke that
Yep.
God creates for them is different. What I'm saying though
Yes.
is that as we're seeing this yoke that God has specifically designed and carved and shaped for us, we
Mm-hmm.
need to be careful not to step outside of that yoke just because we see other people, quote unquote, succeeding with their yoke. Their
Yes.
yoke may not be our yoke, and our yoke may not be their yoke. And so we need to
True. I
understand
want
that.
to add on to that. The yoke is like it's your lane, and that's like why I want to jump in here. This is exactly what has been happening to me. The moment from you and I started talking, and that 8 days is that God reminded me of my lane, JC. And I was probably ignoring my lane because I don't know for what reason. Maybe again we talked about it in terms of the wall, like
Yeah,
for what we saw from Nehemiah, but it could
right.
also be the yoke. It's the same
Yeah,
principle. It's like your lane is the thing that God designed you for, and if you
yeah,
stay within that and fit what God has given to you, then the burdens are light and easy because that yoke is designed to fit you, and it
exactly.
distributes the load properly from a practical engineering standpoint as a structural
Hmm.
engineer, it
Hmm.
distributes the
Hmm.
load properly. So the
Hmm.
animal doesn't have to feel burden in just one part of their body and
Right.
creating, destruction. But I was doing that. That's what I was doing to myself. I wasn't fitting within my lane or my yoke. But when we had that session and we started talking about and we see the patterns in Nehemiah and all those different places where it's abiding, using the tools that God has placed in our hands and building up the wall that's in front of
Hmm.
us,
Hmm.
that's what inspired me to say, you know what, yeah. And that same day, and when I talked to you, remember I told you that I saw
Yep.
that
I
Intel
remember.
post,
Still
that
remember. Yep.
Intel post.
Yep.
That's what started everything. I made
Yep.
one comment on that. I'm actually let me share something with you since that's been happening on that front to JC that I
Really.
forgot to tell you. Remember I told you I only have like either 600 or so connections on LinkedIn,
Yeah. Yeah.
JC.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I made a post recently, JC, since Intel has been in the news a lot, and
Hmm.
I shared just simply. I got up. Actually, it was on the same Friday. Wow, Friday, like it was the same day I was celebrating my wife's
Yeah. Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same day. I made a post early that morning, the Friday, because Intel had reported earnings from Thursday, the day
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
And I just jumped online. I took a screenshot of like a Google, my phone screen that had like the charts, like
Yes.
stock charts,
Yes. 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 Yes.
and you
Yes.
could see where Intel was trading like at 60 something dollars and just
Yeah.
shot up at
Hmm.
like 80 something and blah blah
Wow.
blah. Yeah. Um, anyway, so I took a screenshot of that and
Hmm.
then I made a post, just shared my experience about something deeply that I observed that every Intel employee held.
Hmm.
And I made that post, JC. Just I didn't expect much of it. I just was sharing what I had felt when I was in there working
Hmm.
at Intel, and just seeing like every earnings season and every quarter, we always held our breath. We're like, okay, is Intel's gonna break some record that our stocks can go up? Because we got RSUs and all these
Yep.
different
Yep.
things
Yep.
that
Yep. Hmm. Hmm.
they give you a lot of RSUs as engineers,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
wanted the money to
Of
balloon,
course. Hmm.
right? So,
Hmm.
but every time it just always went down, and we
Hmm.
became disappointed. But really and truly, most of us, we still believed in Intel because we're in the Intel and we saw the capability of
Right.
Intel. And we know that they should be doing better. And that's probably why it hurts so much when you didn't see the stock price go up, but
Yeah.
you're looking inside and you're seeing, you know how that Intel is a great company.
Yeah.
So I mentioned a lot of these stuff, JC, and I tell the truth. This morning I looked at that same post, JC, and that post is like 100,000
Wow.
impression on LinkedIn. Let me tell you, understand the scale of this. People with on LinkedIn that have like even 50K or so followers, they don't even a lot of them don't even get 100K impression posts.
What?
And I only had like 600 or something people. Like I didn't make that post to just like I was like,
Mm,
what happened here? I was like, I looked at this morning, I was like,
mm,
what? Like 999 something thousand. I'm like, what? What happened here? And I look over probably 800 and something reaction, people commenting, people reposting what I posted. I'm like, what? And
wow.
dude, I literally took 15 minutes to just make that post and put it out there. It was the
Right.
same
Right.
Friday morning from my when I
Yeah.
was preparing to go. I'm like, what? But here's the thing. This is not the third post that I've seen, but this is the
Hmm.
biggest one yet.
Hmm.
Because before that, I had made that comment that got like
Hmm.
22,000. I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, why is that? You know? And I made another one that got like 40 something thousand.
Mm.
And then I made another one and it's like, I'm like, and the only, and before this, JT, let me tell you, before this, I was posting on LinkedIn. If you go look at
Yes.
my,
Yes.
I
Yes.
was
Yes.
posting on LinkedIn,
Yes. Yes.
um, really mostly with my intention was to attract engineering services
Yes.
founders because I told them
Yes.
my aim was to build that first code
Yep.
bridge for you and then get other clients.
Yep.
And so I was
Yep.
posting content to attract people. And all of those posts combined, probably over months or whatever, none of them probably summed up to
Mm.
probably 5,000
Mm.
people looking at
Mm.
it.
Mm.
And one post in my lane
Mm.
using the yoke, the tool, the wall that God has given to me just by looking back at my past and seeing it. And just making posts like that in that lane, JC.
Mhm.
I'm like, at this point now, I'm like, because I'm like, whoa, this is something different. This is not normal success.
Right.
It's not normal. Like people with my account
Right.
size don't get
Right.
this
Right. Right. Right.
100K
Right. Right.
people.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean?
Right. 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 Right.
On
Right.
LinkedIn, LinkedIn is one of the hardest platforms to get attention.
Hmm.
Like Instagram and those places, those are way easier
Right. Right.
because people on LinkedIn are business owners,
Right.
professionals,
Right.
busy people who
Right.
don't just want to. They're guarding and protecting their
That's
attention,
right. That's right.
right? And I'm
Right.
like, woo. This is I don't I'm just following and seeing what's happening. I'm just gonna follow God and see what
That's right.
happens.
That's right.
That's
That's
all I'm
right.
at
That's
this
right.
point.
That's right.
That's the next step for me. Just follow, stay in the lane, follow the principles, and see what happens. Actually, even beyond that too, I've made a commitment to God that I'm gonna start throwing water on the altar, just like
Mm-hmm.
Elijah, just to say at the end, unequivocally, it is
Mm-hmm.
him, not no strategies. Because before that too, before like on the previous LinkedIn stuff, I used to try to find out all a bunch of different strategies that they
Yeah.
use, like set up my hook a certain way and
Yeah.
make sure I put in the post, tell people to follow and share and
Right.
repost.
Right. Right.
Nobody did that when I told them that. These posts, I put none of that in it. I just write them raw within the
Yep.
15 minutes,
Yep.
put it
Yep.
out there,
Boom.
forget it, and
Yeah.
people are reposting it and doing whatever they want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't even ask them to repost or to do anything. Before I was having all these call to actions and you know, marketing strategies and bunch of mumbo jumbo to get people to like to go, go viral.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I just said, Lord, I'm just gonna speak from my heart what you've the experience you've given to me
Yeah.
within the lane that you've given me these
Yeah.
experiences, and then see what happens.
That's right.
That's why I know I said earlier that God is stretching me. So now He's helping me to take this even further, where I'm gonna throw water on the altar,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that I'm gonna intentionally probably do unconventional things or
Mm-hmm.
leave out things that the world say you should have to get these success. No, I'm
I like
committed that
that.
I'm
No,
gonna
I
like
like that. Yeah.
that's
Mm-hmm.
it. Practically, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
leave out things, avoid certain strategies that they say, hey, if you don't do this, you can't be
Mm-hmm.
successful. I'm gonna make sure that I
Mm-hmm.
do the things they say you can't do,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
leave out the things and just
Mm-hmm.
put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've committed. I said, Lord, for the next 3 months, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm
Mm.
gonna be like Elijah. I'm gonna start pouring water on this
What?
altar,
Yep. Yep.
and I'm
Yep.
gonna call you down from heaven and
That's right.
do what you're
That's
gonna do. Let me know, Lord.
Amen.
Let me know.
Amen.
Jason, and I tell you the truth, like people, there's so much people following my account too. Because usually I would always try to like when people ask for connection requests, I would try to connect with everybody as much,
Mm.
just kind of like okay, courtesy. But it's so much now, I can't even do that. I'm just leaving it and let them just whatever they're doing. I'm telling JC, I'm like, ooh, wow. This is what God's success looks like?
Yes. Yes.
The yoke is easy and the
Yes.
burden is light.
Light.
Yep. So
Yes.
within that, that's why I say that last week was a momentous week for me. It's like everything God just packed a whole lot of great successes and lessons, and I'm like, I tell you the truth, bro. Like it honestly, and I believe it's just the start.
Mhm.
But I like what you said for sure. The key now is to still continue that abiding work. Don't let the success now start me to cause me to get into that run ahead mind again or that standstill mind,
Right.
but always maintain that abiding submitted mind.
Right.
That's
Definitely.
the key.
Definitely. Yeah, man. Those are powerful, man. It's easy to get excited when the miracles start flowing.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
very, very easy. And it's in those moments when it's even more important for us to surrender.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's important for us also be on guard against the flesh
Mm-hmm.
because the flesh will want to like, "Man, this is looking nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, like I have I've fallen. And so now I have to guard against and even for me now, specifically, I'm gonna be asking the Lord to help me with this. I need to form new habits. I need him to give me those new habits, right? Because for pretty much almost 5 years since I've been in business, I've fallen into, oh wow, blessing comes, get excited, let me start running. I start running. Man, this is rough.
Yeah.
Man. But God bless me with this. But this is rough though, man. This is
Mm-hmm.
burning me. This is not comfortable. But I guess it's
Mm-hmm.
the way it's supposed to go. So let me just keep going. Then that gets done. Then another blessing comes. And then I was like, oh man. It's like, man, do I really want this? But it's not that the delivery of the blessing is the problem. It's me how I'm handling it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's just so important, bro. And I like what you said about pretty much everything that you just told me happened in one day.
A
Friday.
lot. Exactly. Friday was like it's like everything was just pouring in.
Right, 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 right. And it
Mm-hmm.
just that aligns with all of God's promises. Even he says, bring unto him all the tithes and return them into the storehouse, that there may be food or meat in his house. And he says, prove him.
Mm-hmm.
Put that water on
Prove.
the altar.
Yes. Put that water on the altar. Wet
I won't
it. Make it
open the windows of
impossible.
exactly. I
Yeah.
won't open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that
Mm-hmm.
there won't be no room enough to receive it. He's
Mm-hmm.
told us. Like
Yeah.
you said earlier, he's waiting on us. He's told. Oh, sorry, it wasn't you. I was talking to a friend in Africa. We're talking
Mm.
about business, and God has blessed him. His is a great story. I met him in China, and then I went over to attend his wedding in 2019. And he and I were just talking about business today because he always asks me, "How's your business?" So I didn't notice until today. I went there in the early fall of 2019, and
Mm-hmm.
he had a good operation going on. A few employees, a few projects, like construction projects going on.
Mm.
He has a master's in architecture and I think an undergrad in civil engineering. And he did his master's in China. Um, and he's a strong believer. He holds by God's principles as well, Adventist belief. And what I learned today was that he actually started his company in 2019. He had small, little, he calls them humble projects, prior to, but he really started in 2019. And Kemaro, we hear about 10x and all this type of stuff. We
Mm.
are 7 years later, and he said the way he said it today is that because of God, it's like 20 years of work that has been done.
Mm. In
I
just that
literally,
short.
in a short period of time,
Mm.
I saw his staff. If you go on his website right now, I'm like, man,
So it got
these
to,
people,
you're right. in Mark, I've been marinated on this principle that I've already like remember that book outline I sent to you that
Yeah.
that yes that first chapter. I've been
Yes.
marinated on this principle and I recognize God. The world talks about 10x. That's the most they can get. But God, according to Jesus, in the parable of the sower, the
Mhm.
lowest multiple you see there is 30x. God does
Mm.
30x, 60x,
Mhm.
100x, and
Yes.
even
Yes, sir.
beyond
Yes,
that
sir.
x,
Mm.
infinity x.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even if you look at the nature, look at nature and how a seed, one corn grain can produce 2 ears of corn. That is, those sort of multiples are beyond exponential. From one corn grain, you could probably get 2 ears of corn that could plant
Right.
a whole field.
Yes, sir.
And then that one, and it's in a short time, just maybe 3 months, you plant the corn, you get that 2 ears of corn, and in 3 months, you're planting a whole field of corn.
Exactly, man.
And you have a whole field of corn, you could probably plant the whole earth with
Exactly.
corn.
Exactly,
That
man.
is God's multiplication process.
It's a law of multiplicity, as I
Yep.
always talk about. Remember we spoke about the tree. That's what it's
Yes.
coming. I see it's so simple. It's right before us in
Yep.
agriculture, right? Even in
Yes.
the production of animals, we see it
Yep.
among us.
Yes.
And I'm like, God, you've given this right in front. You've given us this right in front of our eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to
Yep.
maximize and become profitable.
Yep.
But the concept is right there, like you even pointed
Right
out,
there.
Jacob. Right,
Mm-hmm.
the concepts are right here.
Yep.
And that's what God is. I see God saying, "Look, this is the life I've designed for you. This
Yep.
is the type of provision I've provided for you." And
Yep.
while as human beings in this world, we are rationing food, there's food shortage, fuel shortage, water shortage, all type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
God never designed the world this way.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
He's
Nope.
given even more than abundance. And we even see that even in the miracle with the two miracles of Jesus feeding the 5,000 and the 7,000.
Yes.
There were baskets full from little.
Yes.
Little was
Yes.
much. Everyone was
Exactly.
fed. Everyone was fed to the fullest. And
Mm-hmm.
once again, they weren't felt like, something, something. Like this is nutritious food because it's coming from the hand of God, the hands of God.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they're left over.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
others can be blessed. And that's
Yes.
what God wants.
Yep.
That's what God wants us as his children to have. Leftovers so that others can be blessed. We'll be full to the brim. But
Yep.
he wants to even overflow so that others can be blessed because that's how he designed the world.
That is it. That is the key.